Welcome into NFL Daily. I am your host, Harrison Graham, back with another batch of NFL rumors and news. Lots to get into on today's show. So let's kick things off with some trade rumors. Alshon Jeffery being the target, kind of a new name thrown into the mix here. Apparently, the report is that the Eagles have been shopping this guy since before last season, which means after he dropped that crucial fourth down play in the NFC divisional round a couple of years ago, they've been shopping him ever since. Obviously, a trade has not happened and did not happen at that time, but Alshon Jeffery has dealt with injuries at times throughout his career, especially this past season. Played in 10 games, was banged up most of the season with a Lisfranc foot injury, did have surgery on it in December, and he is still recovering. Many believe he may not be ready for week one of the 2020 NFL season. Look at the numbers last year, 43 grabs, 490, just over 11 yards a catch, 4 touchdowns. Clearly the explosion was not there for Alshon Jeffery, who's been a big play player for most of his career. He was not that in 2019. We'll get back into this story in a second, but first I want to challenge you guys. This is kind of a benefit situation. So if we reach our goal of 250 comments on this video, and we hope all of those are your trade ideas, so send us in your trade ideas. If we get enough good ones and 250 comments on today's show, I will do a video based off of your trade ideas. So I will pick my favorite ones and I will give my analysis and breakdown of whether or not it actually could happen. It could be fun. So go ahead and comment down below. 250 comments equals a fan trade ideas video, which would be hosted by yours truly. So go ahead and comment below. Send us your best trade ideas in the comment section. You look at the Eagles depth chart at wide receiver. It's not pretty. Alshon Jeffery, Deshaun Jackson. Sure, when they're healthy, they're still pretty good, but neither of them could stay healthy, and they're both getting older. Greg Ward Jr. was obviously a good find for the Eagles, but he's a slot receiver at best. He can't be your top option at receiver. Arcega-Whiteside was not good last year. Deontay Burnett, I don't know. Shelton Gibson, no thank you. So the Philadelphia Eagles need help at the wide receiver position, and they may trade Alshon Jeffery to clear up some cap space if they can find a trade partner. You look at his past 4 years, he hasn't really been that top guy that they brought in from Chicago. Hadn't had a 1,000-yard season in Philadelphia when he's mostly been the number one receiver outside of course, Zach Ertz. So what do you guys think? You see the question on screen. What should the Eagles do with Alshon Jeffery? Type K for keep, type T for trade. I think it's a no-brainer. If you can find a trade partner, you do it. I just don't know if someone wants to trade for Alshon Jeffery at this point in his career. So go ahead, comment below. What should they do with Alshon Jeffery? Next rumor here, let's get you caught up on the latest surrounding Jadeveon Clowney. Nothing a ton new here other than the Browns are still interested. They maybe have taken the lead. Apparently, Clowney and the Browns are somewhat close to a deal in comparison to the other offers he has gotten. Look, the market just hadn't been as good as he thought it would be, and his agent thought it would be. That is the bottom line. Initially, he was hoping for $21 million per year. He's apparently lowered that number to $17 or $18 million. At this point, don't you just kind of sign like a one-year, $16 million deal and hit the market again next year? I kind of think you do. You bet on yourself. I think that's a good route for Clowney to go. He just didn't have the production last year. He was still really good at getting pressures. He just didn't finish a lot. Only 3 sacks. Did play through some injuries, so I think the Seahawks certainly appreciated that, but there's a reason he's not getting $21 million per year. He doesn't have a 10-sack season in his career, so that's kind of the latest there. Here are some other teams in the mix. Obviously, the Browns and Seahawks are still up there, the Jets, the Titans, the Giants, maybe the Ravens, maybe the Bills. Could Jacksonville get in the mix if they trade Yannick Ngakoue? We'll get to him here in a little bit. I think there's a lot of teams out there. I just don't think the market is as strong as he had hoped it would be. So what do you guys think? Where will Clowney play in 2020? Where will he play this next season? Go ahead and vote below, predict below, I should say. Where will Jadeveon Clowney play in 2020? I want you guys to type sub if you've already subscribed to us here at Chat Sports. And if you haven't, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. Remember, 250 comments equals a fan trade ideas video. So type sub in the comments for those of you who have already subscribed to us here at Chat Sports. If you haven't, we encourage you to do so. Just hit that big red button. We got NFL videos going up on the channel every single day. So trust us, even during the big C going on here in the U.S. and in the world, we're still plugging out videos every single day for you guys. So go ahead and subscribe. All right, pretty cool news coming out of Tampa. They've released their new uniforms for 2020. We'll get some pictures up on the screen here in just a second. 3 different color combinations. I think it's a lot better than their most recent look. I wasn't a fan of what they've worn the past few years, but their new uniforms, here they are. I think they're pretty sweet. They got a white version, a red version, and an anthracite version. You see all 3 combinations right there. We'll go through some individually as well. You've got the red unis. It's the same helmet for all 3 looks. So I'll be curious to see if they unveil a different helmet or not. But I like this look for Tampa. Obviously, you bring in Tom Brady. You're fired up about your franchise. Why not unveil some new uniforms, which is what the Buccaneers have done. I like the white versions as well. And the helmet goes with all 3 looks. The anthracite version from head to toe is a good look as well. I'm excited to look at these unis. I would get one of these new Tampa Bay Buccaneers jerseys. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's a good look. White, red, anthracite. It's clean across the board. They're not doing anything too crazy. I am a big fan of the Bucs' new unis. Are you a big fan? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Do you like the new Buccaneers uniforms? I love them. They're not my favorite in the league by any means, but I put them in the top 5 or 10. It's a good look. They needed a fresh start with a fresh quarterback, which is what they got in Tom Brady and these new uniforms. And if you are a fan of these Bucs uniforms, why not get this Tom Brady Buccaneers jersey? It's only $80 right now. We got tons of NFL jerseys on sale with this link, chatsports.com/NFL jersey, including the brand new Bucs ones. Chris Godwin's available as well. Christian McCaffrey, you got all kinds of players up on the page, chatsports.com/NFL jersey. I'll put that link in the comments. I'll put that link in the description. All your favorite players, all your favorite teams, they're pretty much all available, and a lot of them are marked down. They are all on sale. So go to that link one more time, chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Get yourself a nice new jersey for the upcoming 2020 season. All right, next story here. Andy Dalton, as we get back into some trade rumors. His head coach, Zac Taylor, he did an interview earlier today saying every option is on the table. Whether or not trading Andy Dalton will be the end result there. He's obviously set to make almost $18 million in 2020. And as we all know, Cincinnati is expected to take Joe Burrow with the number 1 overall pick, which would mark the end of the Andy Dalton era in Cincinnati. Sure, they could keep him as a backup, but if you can get a draft pick for him, why wouldn't you? Here was Zac Taylor on WLWT. Every option is on the table out there. We're trying to put ourselves in the best position to make sure we're prepared for next season and we have the best assets we can have. We think the world of Andy, obviously. It's just kind of a weekly process for us. So Cincinnati not rushing into anything. I'm sure they're taking calls on Andy Dalton. There's just not a lot of teams left that need a starting quarterback, and a team's probably not going to trade for him as a backup, not for $17.7 million. So the end result is they may have to cut him or keep him as a backup as he runs out his contract, but he's still pretty good. I like Andy Dalton's game. I don't know if he can be a high-level starter at this point in his career, but I think he can offer something to some teams. They should be able to get a day 3 draft pick for him. Want to remind you guys, send us your best trade ideas on this video. 250 comments, that equals a video from me. So here's what you do. You just comment down below all of your favorite trade ideas. You can do more than 1 comment. You can do whatever you want. If we get 250 comments on the show and enough good trade ideas, I'll do a video later in the week on it. So go ahead and comment your trade ideas down below. Let's get to another trade rumor, at least a player who wants to be traded. That's Yannick Ngakoue. He hopped on ESPN's NFL Live today, reiterated that his time in Jacksonville, at least in his opinion, is up. It's not completely up to him, as the Jags have obviously placed him under the franchise tag. He did say that he wants to be part of something special. Doesn't love the Jaguars culture. Look, he's tired of losing. That's the bottom line. Outside of the 2017, I'll call it a fluke run to the AFC Championship game, Jacksonville has been terrible for a very long time now, and Ngakoue wants a fresh start. Here was a bigger chunk of the quote saying, "Things come to an end, and for me, I want to move on to the next chapter. I really want to be part of a team that has a great culture and winning is a habit. I want to be part of something special." So again, he just wants something else. He's tired of Jacksonville. Who wants to play for the Jags? I'm sorry, but it's true. Like, no one wants to go play for the Jaguars. That's just the bottom line. They're an afterthought in the NFL, and he wants something else. He wants to be part of a winning team. He wants to play where their fan base actually cares. There's no Jaguar fans. If you're a Jags fan, you can call me out in the comments, but I don't see many of you guys when we post our videos. So let me know if there's any out there. But one of the better defensive ends in the NFL. He obviously has a lot to offer to an NFL team. Now, we've talked about Clowney. We've talked about Ngakoue. I want you guys to pick a defensive end. Who would you rather have? Type 1 for Ngakoue, type 2 for Clowney. Kind of a tough call, right? Because you got to trade for Ngakoue. I think if they were both free agents, I'd probably go with Yannick because I think he'd be a little bit cheaper. But we will see how much a trade it costs. The Jags want a first-round pick and more. We'll see if they get that in the end. But type 1 for Ngakoue or type 2 for Clowney. All right, some teams are concerned with this virtual NFL draft setup. There's a couple of different angles here that's kind of interesting. This coming from Adam Schefter. Teams are concerned about these Zoom teleconferences. Look, we're using Zoom here at Chat Sports. Everybody's using Zoom across the country. I'm sure a lot of you guys are too. It's an easy way to communicate. It's basically a better FaceTime, if you will. You can connect, you can do conference calls, all of that stuff. So teams are concerned that people can hack into their calls. We've actually seen that. It hadn't happened to us here at Chat Sports, but people have been trying to hack into Zoom calls all over the world since this Big C issue has happened. And teams are also concerned and don't think it's fair that Jerry and Stephen Jones can be together during the NFL draft. Here was John Harbaugh. Here was his quote. Every time I read something in like the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times that talks about how messed up Zoom is or some of these other deals, I immediately text it to our IT people, and they assure me that we are doing everything humanly possible. We'll see what happens. I really wouldn't want the opposing coaches to have our playbook or our draft meetings. That would be preferable if we can stay away from that. So a couple of different angles. Teams are concerned about these Zoom calls getting hacked by other teams or really even just random people. People are doing it all the time. Look it up if you don't believe me. And the second angle I was getting to, so with teams having to draft at home, all personnel is at their own houses. But Jerry and Stephen Jones are father and son, so they can be in the same house, and teams do not like the sound of that. They think it's an unfair advantage. Look, we'll see if the NFL does anything to stop the Dallas Cowboys from doing that. Obviously, the draft this year is much more challenging with the setup and the way it is. It will be interesting to say the least. The draft just over 2 weeks away, and we'll have you guys covered here on Chat Sports.